What's up, YouTube? I'm outside on a beautiful day recording this video, so forgive me if you hear a few traffic cars pass down. But you already know what time it is. It's week 11, if I'm not mistaken. It's the week 11 Black Sports Review up in this bitch. The week 11 Black Sports Review. What I specifically wanted to talk about, I'm going to talk about, let me go ahead and talk about the teams real quick. Let me give you my best 3 or 4 teams in the AFC and best 3 or 4 teams in the NFC. We'll talk about certain players who are really sticking out. AFC, needless to say, I think the Patriots are your number 1 team. The other 3 notable teams in the AFC are the Baltimore Ravens, the Los Angeles Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, and the Denver Broncos. And I think that you can silently throw both Kansas City and the Indianapolis Colts in the equation. But also the Tennessee Titans are on the rise. I think the Titans and the Colts play this week. Whichever team wins between the Titans and the Colts, I'll go ahead and put them as the number 3 or number 4 team in the AFC. Because Mariota, he's got a massive amount of help in the running game. I think his second year would have been a struggle if he didn't get DeMarco Murray and your boy Derrick Henry, the Heisman winner from last year. And that's a confusing situation. I don't know how long they're going to go with the 2 running back theme. I think they may do it for one more season, but I think Derrick Henry is probably going to be starting next season, at the end of next season, or in his 3rd year. But I think that for the time being, he's going to be splitting it up with DeMarco Murray. But those are the AFC teams. The best teams in the NFC, I would say Seattle right now. A lot of people are tempted to say Atlanta, but Atlanta is doing its typical thing that Atlanta does every damn year. They start off well, and I've talked about this. They start off well, and then as Julio Jones goes, so goes the Atlanta Falcons. When Julio Jones' numbers tend to decline, the Atlanta Falcons tend to decline. So we got to see what they're going to do, because right now the NFC South is just looking weak. But I think you can still say that it's Atlanta and Carolina in the NFC South. Tampa Bay Bucks, I really hate to see them regress the way that they did this year. I was really hoping the main man, Jameson Winston, was going to do a whole lot more. But that team, they've been riddled with injuries. They don't have a solid running game. I don't care what they say about the passing game and how much we pass nowadays. You got to have some type of running game. You got to have it. But NFC, NFC, I would say Seattle. Seattle, and then I put Dallas number 2. Now, I know a lot of people going to go crazy over that, but Dallas is my number 2. Number 3, I would probably say my power 3 in the NFC, and not everybody's going to agree with this, but I say New York. Now, you could try to throw Philadelphia and Minnesota in that equation, but I think that right now, just the Eli Manning effect, and even though the Giants are banged up also, they are starting to slightly improve on defense, and I think it really matters if Victor Cruz can get all the way healthy. I think he's going to sit out 1 week, but if he can stay healthy and help out Odell Beckham, the Giants will be all to the good. And, you got the Arizona Cardinals. Carson Palmer has to just be consistent. If they can get to the playoffs, and if Palmer can be consistent, but I don't think they're going to get to the playoffs this year. I think that Seattle going to take the NFC West. So, in the NFC it's Seattle, Dallas, Atlanta, and New York, and my honorable mention team are the Philadelphia Eagles, but they still need help on defense. They need help on defense, and they need more explosive players besides Darren Sproles. They don't have a massive amount of explosiveness outside Darren Sproles. They need to get that white boy, Carson Wentz, a few more tools to work with. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is this week, Tony Romo, the very fragile Tony Romo, he came out and I guess since he's been the Dallas QB since 2006, 9-10 years, he's been injured half the time. Tony Romo felt the need to make a statement, to make a speech. Now, for the record, I'm going to say, as a man, the speech was a good speech. It showed humility and a sense of manhood on his behalf. But at the same time, it was very unnecessary. Because if you look at a similar situation over in Seattle, I think the guy's name was Michael Bennett. I don't want to, it may not be Michael Bennett. It might be not Thomas Rawls. But the running back who was bagging up the injured Seattle running back, he has played every game. He's played all 10 or 11 games. He's helped that team get to potentially the top, the best team in the NFC. Either number 1 or number 2. And Seattle cut him like it wasn't no joke. The very second they got wind of another option on the running back end who could put up some half-decent numbers, along with a primary running back, which I think is Rawls, who's coming back this week, they pretty much told him goodbye. Now, for the record, the brother got picked up by somebody. I forgot who, but I think it was Green Bay picked him up, which could come back to hurt Seattle, because the only thing Aaron Rodgers needs is he needs a running game, and he needs Clay Matthews back on defense. So Seattle could come to regret that. But the point I wanted to make about Tony Romo is that there was this need of him to feel like that he had to come out and announce that he's being benched, or that the mulatto, the biracial, is getting the job before him. Now, for all those who don't know, Dak Prescott is not a black man. He's mixed. He got a white mom. And his white mom, forced him to play football, and she made him good at it. He claims that both his brothers or something, they used to stand close to each other. His mom would make them stand close to each other, and he had to pass a ball through a tire without his brothers touching the ball. So your brothers are going to be trying to block the hole, the donut hole that is the tire. You got to keep passing through that. But Dak Prescott done a good job. He hits the deep passes. He hits the underneath passes. He hits the little bitty slant routes. And it's not the deep passes that I look at. I look at all the little slant routes and all the little short passes. That's what really determines if you're going to really be doing it, or if you're going to have a starting job. But because the white man is assumed to be the best man for the job, it was all the way week 9 or week 10 before we even got to the point of absolutely positively just saying that Dak Prescott is the starting QB. And that's all that there is to it. Dak Prescott should have not. If you look at these sports shows, they was questioning and talking about Tony Romo should come back. Tony Romo should be the starter. For what? Motherfucker, you lost the first game of the season, and you done won every game since then, and nigga, it's week 11. Sit your ass down. Right now, Tony Romo ain't nothing but a valuable trading piece. I want a second-round pick for that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows he's going to either the Denver Broncos or Miami. But Dak Prescott proves and displays, despite the fact what some people are saying, that black men have to work twice as hard. And I know a lot of people teach their kids like me, don't be held to a double standard. But let's not be in denial. It is what it is. Holla, man.